So, what if we could take a whole 2-day masterclass on strategic cost management and just squeeze all the best stuff into the next 5 minutes? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to flip the script on cost management, turning it from this boring chore into your most powerful tool for smart growth.
Let's just kick things off with that question, right? Because this isn't really about cutting expenses. It's about taking back control. It's about understanding the financial DNA of your business so you can actually steer the ship instead of just reacting to whatever the numbers throw at you.
Okay, so welcome to day 1 of our crash course. First things first, we gotta build the foundation. We're gonna decode the language of costs and get our hands on the essential tools you need to make basically any strategic financial decision.
And that starts with cost accounting. Now, don't let the name scare you off. This is not just for the finance department. Think of it more like your central intelligence system. It's what powers smart, forward-thinking decisions for pretty much everyone in a leadership role.
Now, at the very heart of this system are 2 basic kinds of costs. You've got your fixed costs, the steady, predictable stuff like rent or salaries that you pay no matter what. And then you've got your variable costs, which go up and down with your output, like the raw materials for every widget you sell. Getting this difference is like step 1 to really understanding how your business breathes.
And if we want to get a little more granular, we can add a few more layers to our thinking. You've got direct costs, super easy to pin to one specific product, like the leather for one pair of shoes. Then indirect and overhead costs. That's all the other stuff, keeping the lights on. Knowing these categories just helps you build a way more detailed and useful financial map.
So now that we can speak the language, we can start asking the really big questions, like this one. What is your business's survival number? I mean the exact point where you officially stop losing money and start, not losing money. Knowing this isn't just a fun fact. It's your baseline for stability and your launchpad for growth. And you find it with something called a break-even analysis. And trust me, it's way simpler than it sounds. First, you just add up all your fixed costs. Next, you calculate your contribution margin, which is just a fancy term for the little bit of cash from each sale that's left over to help pay for those fixed costs. Then you just divide your total fixed costs by that margin and boom, you've got your magic number, the exact number of units you need to sell just to cover your bills.
All right, the last tool in our day 1 toolkit is cost-benefit analysis. And here's the absolute key. It is not just about the money. The real cost of any project includes stuff you can't put on a spreadsheet, like your team's time and focus. And the benefits? They aren't just profit. They could be grabbing a bigger market share or learning a new skill. This way of thinking forces you to look at the whole picture, which always leads to smarter decisions.
All right, let's dive into day 2. We've got the basics down. We have the tools. Now we're going to start using them to make those high-level, game-changing strategic moves that really define a company's future.
And that brings us to one of the biggest strategic questions a business ever has to answer. When you need something new, whether it's software or a whole new service, is it smarter to build it yourself or just buy it from somebody else?
I mean, there are clear trade-offs either way, right? Building it in-house gives you total control and your team learns a ton. But it usually means higher fixed costs and it's just more complicated. Outsourcing can be way cheaper and faster, giving you instant access to experts. But you lose some control and you risk becoming too dependent on someone else. The right answer always comes down to balancing cost, risk, and quality for your specific situation.
And decisions like build versus buy really show us what this is all about. This isn't just about saving a buck here or there. It's about making a whole series of smart, informed choices that all weave together to create long-term financial health and sustainability for the whole organization. So, when you've got a dozen great ideas, all fighting for the same budget, how on earth do you choose? Well, you need a strategic filter. You run every single project through these questions. Does it actually fit our main strategy? Is it financially sustainable in the long run? What are the hidden risks? What could go wrong? This whole process just makes sure that your most valuable resources, your time and your money, are only being spent on the things that will give you the biggest bang for your buck.
Look, if there is one single thing you take away from all of this, please let it be this. Strategic cost management is not a defensive, penny-pinching game. It's an offensive strategy. It's a way to consciously and confidently put your money where it's going to have the biggest possible impact on what you're trying to achieve. So I'll just leave you with this thought. Using the tools we've just talked about, from figuring out your break-even point to really weighing the true costs and benefits of a new idea, what is the one strategic choice you can analyze and make right now that will build a stronger tomorrow for your business?